Hello, hello, hello. I don't know if anybody's here yet. I'm just doing the thing that I always do. I just had to clean up all my sewing stuff. I'm over here today. So I was over here sewing. I got a giant pile of these going. I hope to have these. I'm hoping that I have these done. This is for my sweary quilt. I'm hoping to have these done by the end of the day. Probably the end of the day tomorrow. I'm just chatting to keep myself company while I wait for people to show up. So I'm over here in my sewing area today, so that because I was just doing some more squares, working on my swearing quilt. Hi Stevie, how you doing? First one in the room. I am just hanging out, chilling and chatting. I was just making squares. So I set everything up over here so that I'm not going back. Sometimes I bring my computer over here so I can have something to watch while I'm sewing, especially if you saw anything about the squares that I'm making. If you're doing kind of the boring stage of it, having a slight distraction can be really good for you. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. So I'm doing that. I think I've got to have over 40 done now. And I'm doing them the slow way too. There are something that I'll probably address in the future. We're going to talk sewing until we for a couple of minutes, just to catch up on what my life has been like in the last 24 hours, because why not, right? Anyway, future videos for sewing. Oh, I forgot yesterday was Friday, so I missed your live. Oh, today's Saturday. Today's Friday for me. I went live yesterday. Doing the swearing quilt, and that was Thursday for me. Today's Friday for me, and I forget, for some of you guys it's already Saturday, isn't it? I don't know. Hi Michelle. I'm just babbling about sewing shit. I got that done. There's got to be 40 there now. So I need maybe not 40. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, maybe 30. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I don't usually come on more than twice in a week, so that doesn't help. Anyway, so I got a bunch of those done last night and today. I don't know that I did a bunch this morning. I did a bunch today so far. That's why I was over here. There is a faster way to do the squares, to do your cutting and stuff, which I may or may not get to in a future video, but I am doing this the slow way. There's always a slow stage, right? So I'll do this now. That way anybody coming in, don't forget to go over onto the previous video and leave a little note saying if you want to be entered to win this little mini tote bag. There's a long story, but I ended up making it. We call Thursday Blur's Day because time often sort of blurs. It does. Thursdays are weird like that. Thursdays are just, Thursday. We used to say Thursday was gay day, but that's the punchline of a really bad joke. Do I remember? I don't remember the joke. I don't remember the whole thing. But anyway. And I got that other video sorted out. Lisa got the other video sorted out. I think I clicked a setting or something. I don't know. Anyway, so people were asking about the other video. That's fixed now too. Because I was on what, Monday? Monday was I live? Anyway, today we're going to talk about the Nazca Lines. What I realized that I do is I tend to go Nazca Lines and I just jump right in it, and then anybody who's filtering in over the course of the first few minutes never gets a chance to catch up, right? So I thought, okay, let's talk about other things. What else do we have going on? We don't have much of anything going on. Lisa's still crazy, but that's fine. That's to be expected. It's been a weird week for me. My daughter didn't go to her dad's on the night she usually does, so I've had a day. Oh, that can mess you up. Oh yeah, the minute something's going on with the kids, when my kids were that age, the minute something was going on with them, I lost all track of reality. By the way, I've got a roll of Kleenex handy. I always say, oh, this is allergy season for me. It's like, it's always allergy season for me. I'm so sensitive. I'm not sensitive. Hi, it's me, B. I'm not sensitive in a way that like makes me sick all the time or anything like that. I've got what's called chronic sinusitis. So just persistent irritation. No big deal. No big deal. It's probably a bigger surprise when I'm not having sensitivities of one kind or another, but I've been over here dealing with batting, which is really, really dusty. So it's not just allergy season for me. It is, you are playing with dust today. It's no big, it's no big deal. You just plan for it, right? So that's how I plan for it. So this way I don't have to get up every 5 seconds and go blow my nose. I'll try not to be too honking when I do it, but anyway. But yeah, quilts come along. The really cool thing about this quilt as you go technique is that once, what the hell? I clicked the button and I had to unclick that button. Once this part's done, it's just connecting it all together. This piece here, because the quilting stage, when you're connecting this to this and making your little sandwiches, that's usually the part that takes the longest. Well, it depends on what you're doing, but anyway, once that part's done, the rest of it goes together really fast. But I'm not going to be okay. Friday is date night for us. We realized that we just kind of sit around the house going, there's nothing to do, and it's like, let's pick a day. Even if we just go over to Denny's and get one of their cheap breakfasts. We decide that Friday has to be date night. Go out for something to eat. We don't necessarily do anything, but go out for something to eat, chill, chat, just turn off the electronics and relax. So I've already put in a couple hours today on getting the squares going. Then I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get back to it tonight, but I'm hoping. What does Lisa have scheduled? I'm hoping that I'm going to get a chance to get this, at least the squares part, finished up over the weekend. And then when I'm ready to start piecing it together, you'll be seeing me again. But anyway, I'm only starting to get a little bit hyper, but that's all right. So today we are looking at Nazca lines are a favorite topic for me because they are freaky. There is something not normal going on here, and there's no reason for it to be going on. You guys, I think a lot of people have heard of the Nazca lines. So I'm just clicking buttons and getting things going. That's not the one I want. Is that the one I want? Oh, right, I can't do that. That's not the one I want. That one I can do. That's not what I want. My God. I've got to get... You've never heard of the Nazca lines? Oh my God, you were in for a treat. The Nazca lines are their very own... Why is this not letting me move it? This is not letting me move it, and I don't know. You know what? I do know why. Do you know what I'm doing? There we go. That's a lot better. Now that's going to be bigger. This is Google Maps. Okay. You guys can follow along if you want. This is the town. I've got the map right now set to the town of Nazca, Peru. So we're going to, there we go. So this is Nazca, Peru. So and now that I know where I am, see up there, it says Líneas de Nazca. Okay, this is the town of Nazca, Peru, which is on the Nazca Plateau. Okay. The really cool thing, the thing that you need to know about the Nazca Plateau is that the Nazca Plateau, I don't know how to describe this. I don't want to do homework because I'll make myself crazy. Okay. So what happens is you have a high mountain. Let's go back to just me for a minute. How do I do that? Nope, it doesn't do that. Okay. I don't need to go crazy showing you guys this. I'll explain it. I think you'll get it, and I'm happy to. God knows I stick around for hours and hours on these videos. If you need me to explain, I'm happy to do it. So you got a mountain, right? There's me. So you got your mountain, okay? Mountain is here, and you got a plateau at the top. That's fine. But the mountain, the Andes Mountains are really, 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 really tall. So what happens is coming off of the Pacific, so Pacific's over here, okay? Wind is blowing over the ocean, picking up water. Clouds. You guys, we all know how clouds are made, right? So the clouds are blowing in off of the Pacific, and once they hit the mountain, once they hit this landmass, the clouds end up climbing up, right? They hit the mountain, they start moving up the mountain, and of course, if you have something that's wet and you put it on something else, the water starts to release. So basically, the way that these mountains or the plateau on top, doesn't matter which, the way that this works is that this is kind of important. So this is your geography lesson. So basically, the rain is coming in from the coast, from the Pacific coast, pushing up the mountain. The mountain is so tall that this area here at the top has not seen rain. The areas of the Nazca Plateau have not seen rain in 10,000 years because the mountains are so tall. Once clouds can only exist to a certain height, or can only experience. This is basically about the geography. The clouds are hitting here. By the time they get to here, they've wiped off. I mean, there's got to be a better word for it, but all of their water has been wiped off on the mountain, right? So there's nothing left. There's nothing left when it gets to the top. This is really important because what's really important about this is that that was the wrong one. What's really important about this, yeah, it dissipates. It dissipates against the physical feature of the mountain. Now, obviously we go. Is the map back up? Yeah. Okay. So Nazca's here, and we go out, and you can see this. Okay, so you can see this is South America. This is in like south central Peru. Okay, so what's going on is we've got the Amazon rainforest off to the east, but the brown going all the way up and down here, that is the Andes mountain range. The rain just is not getting up into Nazca, into the Nazca plain. Is this still lined up properly? Of course it's not. Let's go find Nazca again. Okay, so it's just not lined up properly. This makes sense. So this is why Nazca is so crazy important, because these features have been there for like 10,000 years. They don't really know how long the lines have been there. Okay, they really don't know. They can date some of it, but they can't date all of it. Let's go straight to Wikipedia. God knows, I just go for a Wikipedia reread. Okay, they are a group of geoglyphs made in the soil of the Nazca Desert in southern Peru. And like I said, this desert has not, there are areas in this desert where they've had zero rainfall for, well, okay. Okay, so there has heavy rains have damaged part of one of Peru's top tourist destinations, depositing a clay and sand on mysterious figures. Does it rain in Nazca, Peru? Rainfall is almost non-existent, making this area between the Pacific Ocean and the Peruvian Andes one of the driest deserts in South America. So basically the geography of the area, because what happens when you have a feature of any kind? Hey, Trisha, what happens when you have a feature? A feature of any kind is usually damaged by weathering and time. Well, Nazca, this matters. Okay, so now let's go straight. So this is the town of Nazca here, which obviously the plain was, and these are Andean villages that have been around for a really long time. So now we're going to go up the highway. I already found the area I want to look at. There's a highway that goes right through it. Okay. So this is one of the flatter areas of the plains here, and you're already starting to see lines. I don't know if you guys can see them. Yeah, can you see the lines? And you go, oh, that's weird. And then you start getting closer and closer, and you start seeing shit like this. Basically, there's the desert, the Nazca Desert is a layer of sand. Oh, and California is it's the Rockies. The Rocky Mountains go from north to south. What's the actual range in California? No, we have the Rockies. What do they have? Yeah, it's just the Coast Range. I don't know. And don't feel bad for not knowing that, by the way. Never feel bad for not knowing not knowing the mountain ranges in somebody else's country. Oh, the Santa Andreas winds. Oh my God, I'm thinking Chinook, because that's what they call. There's a similar wind that we get up in Canada that they call the Chinook. The Santa Anas. The Santa Ana winds are winds that basically blow from the desert. It's seasonal. It blows from the really, really, really hot, dry desert down the canyons towards the ocean. So from east to west, and the winds are so dry and so hot that the already dry desert area in that area of California. That's why when a fire happens. That's why when a fire happens in these areas in California, they get really, really bad, really, really fast, because these hot, dry Santa Ana winds. If you've ever had a fire, what do you want to do if you want the fire to get bigger? You blow on it. So you've got these hot, dry winds drying everything out to tinder, basically. The drier piece of wood is, the faster and hotter it burns. So you've got these hot, dry winds drying everything out. And then all it takes is one little spark, and the hot, dry winds, this constant blow makes it go crazy. So that's in North America around California. What this here is the biggest issue, not the biggest issue, the thing that's really, really amazingly, awesomely important about this, these are like 10,000 years old. The Nazca Plain is a lighter subsoil, clay or whatever. So lighter colored clays with darker colored soils and dust and whatever on top. So basically, these are not necessarily very deep channels and stuff that are being dug. This is going to get really, really, really crazy in a bit. Okay. So what's going on here? These are everywhere. And now, okay. When you're coming up here and you see dark light like this, that's just the globe. That's just the satellite imaging. Obviously, okay, satellites go over an area and stitch this stuff together a little bit at a time. So ignore the color differences of one area to the next area and focus on the features that are going right through it. These lines just go everywhere. These lines are crazy and they're everywhere. And they've been there for a really, really long time. One of the theories, you can't see these from the ground. You cannot see you can find areas on the ground where they've gone and clearly dug it out and made line, and you can see that they've made the lines, but you can't see this. You cannot see the scale of this until you're up in the air. But what's really interesting is we've got this line here, right? And it comes up and it comes up. I'm pointing with my fingers if you guys can see it. So this line here, it's kind of a really long triangle, right? Then you've got this line here that's a really long triangle. The really interesting thing is and then you've got this one here that's a rectangle. Then you've got another one here that's a rectangle. They're oriented these lines seem to be specifically oriented for specific purposes, specific reasons. But they've known about the Nazca lines for a long time. Really cool anomaly. Don't know why they're there. This is crazy. Oh, wow. Look at this shit, right? Like, okay, so you've got this one here. Then you get in closer. And then you see that there's this area here and it rays off. But then what's that? This is the Nazca spider. You cannot see this from the ground. Michelle says, they remind me of a bit of the crossing runways of an airport, and that's what they remind everybody of. Okay, this is a flat desert. This is a relatively flat desert that is so flat, Cape Canaveral, NASA uses, well, that's not normal. Oh yeah, Cape Canaveral is situated where it is because of the weather and the conditions. It has everything they need to be able to launch rockets into space, because when you're putting that much money, that much time, that much effort, and that much resources into launching a rocket, the last thing you want to do is have it called on account of weather. It's like, wait a second. So Nazca, you say in 10,000 years, I'm saying 10,000 years. So let's just see. They were created between 500 BC and 500 AD by people making depressions or shallow incisions in the desert floor, but removing pebbles and leaving different colored dirt exposed. So basically you got one color dirt on the top, one color dirt on the bottom, take it all out, expose it. There were two major, and don't forget, radiocarbon dating. I just want to make this very, very clear. Radiocarbon dating requires a piece of firewood, a piece of bone. It requires a piece of something. They cannot radiocarbon date stones. They can't do it. They've got no technology that lets them radiocarbon date stones. So we know that scientists make assumptions, which is normal, but we cannot prove when the site was actually created. We cannot prove, there's a lot of stuff we cannot prove here, because people were up in the area. There's evidence. Inca roads is a thing. So it's not like the long man where you can tell you're walking on them. No, these, okay. You can tell you're walking on something. When you get in close enough, you can tell that you can tell, oh, somebody, if you're walking on this, let's see if it'll get a better picture. That's a slightly better picture. Oh, I screwed that up. You can tell that there's something there, but these are actually, I don't want to say miles long. Okay, Nazca spider. How big is the Nazca spider? Let's find that out. So yeah, Nazca's dry and windless. Oh, it's a windless climate. So there's not a lot of, okay, once you get to the top of the plateau, there's not a lot of wind. All the weather happens downslope, very close to the ocean. There's nothing coming up. Nazca's dry and windless climate has preserved the lines for over 1,000 years. Okay. How big? How big is the Nazca spider? Okay, the overall shape of the spider is roughly circular with a diameter of approximately 150 feet, 46 meters. However, the legs extend. What are they saying here? Okay, some figures have been measured. The hummingbird is 93 meters long. The condor, we'll get to the other stuff. This spider is 150 feet long. So you're going to get up there and you're going to be able to tell that there's something there, but you're not going to be able to see that. It's not going to make a lot of sense to you if you don't already know what it is. If you are in a, I'm trying to think, because there's bigger. This is not the biggest. This is not the biggest thing. How big is the long man? That's the where's the long man? How big is? $235 feet. But the thing is that, okay, the long man, this is the long man of Wilmington, right? Let's share this tab. This is the long man of Wilmington. He is, I didn't stop to look. He's in the UK. He's on a hillside and you can see it. Okay. He's on a hillside and you can see it. Oh, sorry. He's on a hillside. You can see it from a distance because it's like, I don't know, like, okay, if I take this and look at it like this, right? I'm going to see a lot less than if I hold it up and see it like that. The long man is tilted so that it can be seen from a distance. The spider is flat. The spider is flat on the ground. That's the problem with the spider, okay? Yeah, this is a more flat view of the area. So it's like, something, because it's like, oh, that's weird. What's that? But you have no idea of the scale. You have no idea of, there's just things you can't see. There's most of these features are not visible in any meaningful way. That's probably the way to put it. Like I said, if you're like you can do this experiment for yourself right now. Take a book that you're familiar. Yeah, that the long man is man-made. The long man is man-made. Oh, there's an art. It's part of an article. Let me see what we got here. Let's take the picture down. Blah blah blah. It's a hill figure on the steep. It's on the steep slopes of Windover Hill near Wilmington, East Sussex, England. Locally, it was once called the Green Man. It's 235 feet tall. He holds 2 staves, and it's designed to look in proportion when viewed from below. Now, in proportion, the Statue of Liberty is a really good example. When you get the Statue of Liberty has a particular look when you're looking at it, but when you get up close, you realize that it's really, really sharp angles. It's a very chunky artificial looking face that was done intentionally so that when you're further away, it looks in proper proportions. Formerly, okay, so the Long Man of Wilmington, formerly, do I still have that one up? Oh, I closed the thing. The Long Man of Wilmington, formerly thought to originate in the Iron Age or even the Neolithic period. Basically, the Long Man, there's two things around the Long Man. These are chalk hills, which is why it's so white. You take off the vegetation and it's very, very white underneath. So it's the same idea. It's like, oh, we don't have to do a lot to make this visible from a distance, right? This actually matters. This guy, and this guy actually has a close cousin relationship to another feature that's in the Nazca region. So we'll go there. So the Neolithic period was the new Stone Age. So 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. Okay, the modern figure is formed from white painted breeze blocks and lime mortar. So the current modern figure was basically rebuilt from the original. Yeah, it was first recorded in 1710. It's supposed to have been there for a really long time. There are theories that this thing is like 5,000 to 10,000 years old, which is what matters. And then, of course, every time they do we've taken advantage of this new study to increase our modern arrogance by saying this could never have happened the way that it looks like it happened. But anyway. The thing that matters when you're trying to determine the age of this shit, they have to base their aging, they have to base it on a whole lot of guesswork, a whole lot of geology work. But when they start talking about carbon dating and things like that, they can only carbon date things that they find in the area that they hope came from the same place. So if you had a campfire, you have a campfire 500 years ago, and you grab you grab a bunch of stones and you have your campfire, you do your thing, You do a bunch of stuff. You grab a piece of stone that was meant for something else. You put it on top of it. And then they come along and grab up some of that wood ash and date it. They're going to think that things happened at a different time that they did. Saying it weird. I'm saying it weird, but hi, Autumn Rose. Yeah, the long man was painted green during the war to blend him in. Yeah, because do you know what the long man is? It's a very clear and obvious landmark. The long man, I see, viewpoint. Okay. If I could spell it, that would be even better. I don't want that. Yeah, some historians think that the long man was carved into the hills more than 5,000 years ago to mark the position of Orion in the night sky, which is really creepy because so many artifacts that they find point to Orion in the belt, Orion's belt in the night sky. A local tale says that he was carved by Sussex monks from a nearby church in order to represent a pilgrim. So there's a whole lot of stuff. Anyway, this matters because I wanted to show you guys some other stuff. The Nazca Lines. God, I'm 31 minutes in and I haven't said anything that's exciting yet. Mind you, this giant spider is exciting. So what we're looking at here is the giant spider, 150 yards wide. Oh, I said that you can do an experiment right now. You can do an experiment for yourself right now. Grab a book, hold the book. You can read the book. Now start tilting the book and get it almost flat. And suddenly you can't really see it. This is the part that matters. So it's like, if you can do this with a book, these figures are only clearly visible. There are no landmarks. Look how flat this. I don't know if you can tell this, but this is a flat desert region. There is no way to see the entire thing from any sort of a distance unless you're flying over it. That's the punchline. You can see that there are lines, but you can't see much else until you're in flight. There's the spider again. Now this here, this obviously doesn't help. Like over here, I got this up properly. Yeah. Over here, those are tire tracks. People drive up. They want to see the lines. There's actually a highway that goes through the area. These are tire tracks. The area is flat enough that you can just drive through it, right? So, but you can still see these lines are perfectly straight. And I will tell you right now, what Stone Age society can make a perfectly straight line? This is one of the lines. These are like that. Okay, this one here coming down. If it's not a straight line, it probably came later. It's the straight lines that we're looking for, because they built a highway through this area and didn't notice the lines. Yeah, most lines run straight across the landscape. There are also figurative designs of animals and plants. The combined length of all the lines is more than 1,300 kilometers worth of lines. Somebody hung around in the Nazca, Peru, in the Nazca desert region, in a desert that doesn't see rain. This is a rainless desert with very, very still, quiet air. They are typically 10 to 15 centimeters deep. It's not taking a lot to make them. They were made by removing the top layers of reddish-brown ferric oxide-coated pebbles to reveal the yellow-gray subsoil. The width of the lines varies considerably, but more than half or slightly more than 13 inches wide. In some places, they may be only 12 inches wide, and in others, 6 feet wide. Some of the lines form shapes that are best seen from the air at around 500 meters, 1,600 feet, although they are also visible from the surrounding foothills and other high places. But here's the thing. If you want it to be visible, why not do what they did with the long man and put it on the hill so that you could see it from a distance without having to make a special effort to go up into the hills, look back and go, there it is. Makes no sense. And when you're talking about, 1,800 miles, is that what it said? Let me just back up and make sure 1,300 kilometers, 800 miles of total length of line. Who's going up there and doing this? They've got to bring their own food. There's nothing there. It's an empty, open desert. This is an empty, open desert. Do you see anything that would make it comfortable? What's that? Spider. But look at this. Here's the spider. Here's the spider here. And then here's two lines coming off of it that are connecting to another line that looks like it was once part of a long line. More of it. This literally, okay, what's, let's see. Is this one? Oh, it's a video. No, I don't want to do that. Let's see. Okay, we'll just do this. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is someplace close to home. Yeah, I wonder what they did with the soil they removed since they didn't have the wheel. Now, apparently they removed the soil and just, I don't know if they removed it and took it out. We will have to look at that. Don't let me forget, Melissa, which, hi, by the way, to anybody else who managed to wander in. So what's that? This is the Vancouver airport, right like a half an hour from my house. Well, about an hour now from where I'm living anyway. This is the Vancouver airport. And I'm trying to scroll. I'm going, why is this not scrolling in? This is the Vancouver airport. Okay. This I do not want to watch an A&W ad. I clicked the A&W by mistake and now I'm stuck with it. This is the Vancouver airport. So the white is the runways, obviously. And then all of this here, the dark gray is the main road going in. The light gray, the next level down is the secondary roads going in. And then these are all the little street roads and stuff like that. Like, doesn't that look familiar? Doesn't that look a little... I can just imagine. I can literally just imagine that these larger areas here are the parking lots for whatever. But I can just imagine like airports. I can literally, something was here, right? But yeah, you come in here, and again, the weird lines, the weird not straight lines that are going through are, for the most part, vehicles coming through. And where is it? Was this there? Yeah, and there is the there's the Pan American Highway. They put the highway through. They knew the lines were here. The highway was put in before or after. Nobody really knew. Yeah, they did not have the wheel. Nobody really knew how extensive they knew there was some lines up there. That's that. Oh, there's some stuff up there, whatever. While we're building a highway, we're going to go right through it. And they did. So they put the highway in. And then they started realizing just what's here. So we get here, and yeah, there's a lot of debris. Let's see what they say. So they made channels, and we have no idea what may or may not have been in those channels at some point. So that's a whole different conversation. Let me see. Rediscovery. In 1955, Luis Monzon reported having seen ancient ruins in Peru, including the remains of roads. The Inca roads were famous. The Inca Empire created a road system that went basically from north to south, all the way through. And of course, they do go through that region. When were the Inca roads built? Yeah, the Inca road system, which obviously there's clear evidence that some of these roads were part of the Inca road system. The Incas built a road, didn't have the wheel, and built a road system going all the way from north to south of their empire. Yeah, the network was composed of formal roads, carefully planned, engineered, built, marked, and maintained, paved when necessary, with stairways to gain elevation, bridges, blah blah blah. Which you need that to run a kingdom. So I don't want to say I don't want this to get too boring. So we'll go in here. But they are literally coming in here, putting in a highway, and not noticing just how extensive this is. They knew there was some stuff. But it's interesting how these seem to have a central hub, but like they go out in different directions. And they're all kind of the same. There's a certain, like, there's a large rectangular area, and then the areas that come out from there are triangular. And there is UFO activity up here. Let me see. No. Nope. I'm not going to find it quickly and conveniently. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, this is a society that did not have the wheel. And yet here are these massive systems. But here's where it gets, like, there's a Nazca spiral over here. So they're putting in spirals. So you can see here, up here are some hills, right? They put the spirals down here. This is some more stuff that was put in. Flamingo. This is some more stuff that was put in. So you can see these from the hillside, but you can't stand on this hillside and see all of it. You're still not seeing this way down here. And there's stuff in here. I know I'm zipping around, but yeah, like look how huge. Look at how huge that triangle is. And then over here you've got another, looks like a freaking runway again, and it does. It looks like a runway. This, look at that. See that triangular piece? See how that's hooked up? This is why I get my, like, this is why I get so, like, come on, let's get back to the, I don't know that it will let me share two of these at the same time. Come on. Let's see. I'm getting itchy. Time to blow my nose. Don't worry, I have a garbage pail right down here. Okay. Can I share both? I could only share one screen at a time. Can only share one screen at a time. So we're going to, okay, so let's take a look at this one. Bring it in a little bit. Just take a look at that and see how it's laid out. And then let's take a look at this again. The triangle areas are so that a plane has to take off based on which way the wind is blowing. Okay. So the reason why you've got multiple lines here, the thicker, wider lines are the actual runways. And then the other lines are the roadways that the planes are using to get into position, either before taking off or after landing. So a plane might, and then of course you've got the hangars here. So a plane may have to go up to here, down here, back up to here, over here, turn around, and then take off. I don't know. I'm not like, obviously I don't know shit from shit, right? This is how a large airport runs. Things have to be lined up in the right direction according to the wind, blah 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 blah, so that they're taking off properly, so that and they have to, and you've got like maybe a couple of dozen planes doing this at the same time or within minutes of each other. So airport 101. This makes it important. This makes it important because then you come over here and you go, why is it so impossible for us to believe that this was associated with some sort of landing area? Like, we've got a lot of the same things, right? We've got wider areas, narrower areas. And when you go over here, let me just go over here and go to, this is actually a better look here. Let's share this one again. That's what it actually looks like when you're not. This is what the airport actually looks like when it's in satellite view. This matters because then you're looking over here and here's the terminals. This area here is also all dug up. It looks different, right? You've got your parking lot areas for the planes down here. Where are we here? I think that's the airport itself. There's hangars, there's hangar bays, there's areas where planes that are being worked on park, giant warehouse type buildings. This right here would be a big, if you were to take and just remove the building, you're going to have this big weird shaped spot in the center surrounded by all these things. You get back over to here and you're going, well, why is that so different? Like, was this a large building that was an administrative center, and then when it was no longer, okay, if this was, let's assume that this was a large building, administration center, when it's no longer needed, what do? We tear it down. We tear it down, we repurpose the materials for something else. We remove, especially if we're in a high density, high usage area. Okay, so people without the wheel, and this is, I'm just going to harp on this one. So people without the wheel who carried everything by hand on their backs, went up into the desert where there's no water. If you can't bring it, you can't have it. Okay. People die of thirst people can die of dehydration, exposure, all sorts of things fairly quickly in environments like that. And they're going to go up there and put in 1,800 kilometers worth of lines. Straight lines, incredibly straight lines. Now I get it. We've got the Inca pier. We've got proof. We've got proof that they had a certain degree of engineering skills that let them build some really cool stuff. We've got that proof. We're fine with that. That part makes sense. But what's really confusing is, why would they go into what is currently and has been for a very long time a remote area where nobody wants to be? Maybe it's a rite of passage. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But they're making straight lines. They're building roads, runways, whatever it is. And then, and you can see evidence of this. This is where it gets kind of freaky. Is this another one down here? No, that's just a road feature. So then there's also the evidence that new lines were built on top of old lines, that evidence like this one here. I'm not sure if somebody's like, yeah. So this is what this one looks like, right? So it's a double spiral. There's clear evidence that extra lines were added that weren't straight. There's obviously tire tracks going over this. Like people are driving through here and not even people are driving through the area and not even seeing it. Okay. But there's evidence here, at least to me, this is evidence when you look at the top corner here that this spiral was added later. That it was added later. That's the punchline. Where's the thing? Oh, I'm still back on the map again. Like, you've got this nice ramrod street. You've got this nice straight line with narrower connector lines. And then this. So this is probably a really significant site. I think, my personal opinion, I don't know what this is going to turn out to be. There might turn out to be a really rational explanation here. Oh, and by the way, the best conditions for a plane to take off is when there's no wind. And what did it call this place? A windless, dry, no weather concerns, not a lot of wind. It's like, oh, well, if you're going to build an airport, if you've got the ability to create transportation, we put our planes, trains, and automobiles in places that are convenient to us, right? But if location doesn't matter, this is a prime location to put something down. Like to me personally, this is evidence of not necessarily like this is evidence of an advanced civilization of some kind. And then you come out a little further and you start seeing these straight lines. Like these lines are perfectly straight. They shouldn't be like, I get it. The Incas, you take a string, take another guy with a string, you make your straight line. That part makes sense. But here's the thing, why? They've got no reason to be doing this. But this is where it gets funky. This is, let's see how many of them we can find. Oh yeah, that's, I think, might be attached. Let me see. Thing is with these, let's see if I can bring this up. These are not close together. Somebody's copied the lines and made it into a single graphic for us to enjoy. This is just a sample of some of the stuff that they found. This is just a sample of some of the lines that they have found. And some of them, like, nobody knows what that. I think that might be the flamingo. Some of these animals, like this here, we're just making guesses as to what they're supposed to represent. That's the hummingbird. That's the monkey. That's a man. Spider. That's some sort of a lizard. That is clearly a male. Okay, so this is where the Nazca lines get really freaky. Who engraved them? And their main purposes have been subject to debate among archaeologists and scientists for years, giving rise to numerous theories. So yeah, there's the hummingbird. Oh, the condor. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so I've been going back and forth over it already and just didn't zoom in enough to see it. So this here, then you just keep zooming in. Come on. So you're here and you're going, wow, this is freaky shit. Look how huge this is. And you zoom in, and you see the condor there. Right? This is obvious. This is obviously a better photo of it, but it's still the same thing. Like you've got these lines coming out here. You've got this here. This is obvious. Okay, this one here, this photo here, somebody's obviously gone over it to make sure it's visible. So we'll go back to the Google Maps one, but it is visible. It's visible from the air. So let's just let's just back up a little bit. Where's the nearest hill? The nearest hills are over there. So somebody went, well, if you stand here, you can't see it. If you stand here, you're probably too far away. So we're going to put this right here. We're going to put this right here where you can only see it if you're standing in just the right spot. You can tell that there's something there when you're on the ground, but what that is, you'll never know. And there's something else right there that's been started, or something else that was meant. Maybe it's the condor's baby, right? So this is, oh, there's another one. Yeah, there's two more right there. But it's really interesting because these cross the existing line that's there. So my personal assumption and belief is that these straight lines that look like they were purposed to be a road, to be an access, to be a something, those lines, and most people with a theory agree that the straight lines were put in first, and the animals and stuff were added later. But like this is a weird spot, as if maybe there was something there. So yeah, I wonder if those were landmarks around the area. Yeah, no, it's really weird. I mean, the thing is it landmarks for what? Nobody lives up there. Nobody lives up there. There's not enough water. I mean, if people might travel through the area, but nobody's actually hanging out in the area. Oh, I'm sorry. I left that spider up and left it up and left it up. I didn't mean to do that to you guys. So what's another one? Where's the monkey? The monkey is 330 feet long and 190 feet high. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm doing. I am just typing this in to Google Maps. Now, this one here is on a hillside. This one here's on a hillside. That makes sense. That makes sense to put it on a hillside. Then lots of people can see it. Oh, and lots of people can see it, use it as a landmark, or whatever it is it was there for. People could do that. There's no rain. There's no wind. There's nothing to wash it away. There's no reason why these were going on the flat ground in areas that were hard to see. That is not the one I was looking for, though. Let's see if it'll bring me to it. It says it's there. That's not it. Well, it doesn't like me. It's not going to go where I want it to. So this is Nazca down here at the south, following all the way up this, when it says 1S, all the way up to here. This is the Nazca plain, right? The really interesting thing is, this is something that was pointed out, that somebody else pointed out a long time ago. Can I find it? I don't think I'm going to find it. It takes a little bit more time and effort. Yeah, there's some right there. So the area that we're looking at is over here, but no matter where you go, I was just on it. There we go. No matter where you go, there seems to be always one more to be found. Two straight lines going all the way across the landscape. Don't stop. Relying on Google Earth. Well, Google Earth is awesome for a whole lot of reasons. Like this is probably a road or a trail. Okay, now So when you get into the area, I still can't find the monkey. Let me see if I can find the monkey. Come on, where are you? Yeah, I can find photos of it, absolutely. Yeah, I'm back to the same article. No, I don't want that. They've got these mislabeled. That's the dog. Oh, that's the one I want. What's this called? Nazca. This is one. This is one of the ones I want. Come on. I'm not gonna find. Oh, I might find this one on my own. Okay, this is where it gets weird. If we come here, I might be able to find it by looking at the map, because I'm not going to find it. Nope, I'm not going to find it. Okay, it's not Nazca. What is it called? What is it called? Okay, let me see if I can. I'm just going to have to rely on a different photo because I'm not going to find it. It's on Google Earth, but I'm not going to be able to find it in a hurry. Back to the spider. Come on, where are you? Oh, yeah, this one. This one here. Let's go to this one here. This one's the whale. This one's the whale. He's hard to spot. Yeah, here's the thing. Right here is 3 cars, 3 vehicles. There's 3 vehicles in this photo right here. So that tells you how difficult this is to see from the ground. There's something else here that's there from the ground. This one's the dog. This one they're calling the pelican, and whatever this is. And again, it's crossing the existing lines. Where's that? New Nazca line images. Ooh. From 2004, a group of researchers led by Professor of Archaeologist Matseo Sakai of Yamaguchi University with the collaboration of the Peruvian archaeologist George Orlando, blah, 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 discovered 140 more new lines, which were the most deteriorated and most imperceptible to the human eye. So these are new lines that have been broken down. On the other hand, unfortunately, these lines cannot be visible from Google Earth because of a low Earth orbit. The 1 kilometer areas extend approximately 15 degrees they're just huge. Okay, so they've got this area here and then that here. So basically, we've got Nazca lines have been happening for a really long time, and they're now proving it. That's the one. That's one of the ones that we saw on the hill when we saw the hillside image. I'm just going through way too fast. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, okay. This gets really weird if I can find it. Okay, I'm gonna go look for it. I'm gonna take a minute and see if this is what I'm looking for. This is the Nazca astronaut. While the Nazca parrot provokes some outlandish, basically this is on the coast. Okay, that image is on the coast. Let me see if I can. I used to know exactly where it was. That's where I'm kicking myself right now, because I used to know exactly where it was, and you could find it on the coast. That's not it. You just go along when you zoom into the coast. Oh, that's interesting. When you zoom in along the coast, you can see the foothills like right away, and you go along the foothills. No, you can't see it from there. No, I'm not gonna find it. I don't think I'm gonna find it. Let me try. You know what? I am determined. I mean, I am just, this is like, to me, this is like, this is not now like challenge mode. I'm only going to find it if there happens to be a good enough Google Maps image of it. Is that it? That's not it. Okay. This is on this image is on the coast. Okay. That image is on the coast and basically pointing straight towards the Nazca Plains. You can only see this from above or from the water. I don't even think you can see it from the water. What exactly this human figure represents remains an enigma, but one fairly balanced argument states that it's a fisherman. Researchers believe it to be a Paracas era geoglyph. Paracas is the society that lived there before the Inca or the Nazca culture. Predating the Nazca culture, some argue that on closer inspection, it's possible to see the figure holding a net in its left hand and a dangling fish in the right. Given the coastal location and the importance of the fish in the region, it seems a reasonable hypothesis. But again, why is it there? Let me see if I can find, let me see if they call it Nazca fishermen. Pardon me, now I'm belching because that's just what I do. Ooh, there it is. Let's see. Let's see. Please. Ah, there it is. Let's see. Where's it telling me to go? No, this is something else. I am trying to find this fisherman because you can see it on Google Earth. It's visible on Google Earth. And I am so sad that I am not finding it. Okay, the astronaut is at 1444.42. Does that? Let's see if I can just copy that and get it into Google Maps. It should work. Of course you can't find it. Fucking Google Earth. Okay, 14 degrees. Does it give me that information on the Google map? Does the Google give me the information that I want? No, it does not. Okay. I am not going to, I want to kill myself over this. Not kill myself. That's a bad way to, that used to be a funny way to say it. I don't think it's necessarily that funny to too many people anymore, but I want to put in way too much energy and effort over finding this. It is along the coast. So basically we're coming out here, okay? Nazca's up here, and somewhere along this coastal area is that particular thing. Well, that's right, because I don't have actual Google Earth up. I've got just Google Maps. I don't even think I have Google Earth installed. The one that says dog, basically, they're just kind of assuming, based on what they think they know of Nazca culture, what, like they're calling this one the pelican. Does not even remotely look. Oh, there's a head there and a big long neck and then a body. This does not look like a pelican to me. They have to make assumptions on what they think they were trying to create based on what they know about the area, blah, blah, blah. So they're doing that. Okay, now, so we have got the Nazca plane, and I'm not sure if you guys are up for this much more bored. Well, okay, it's exciting to find this stuff. When you zoom in, because like that's probably just a farm. This right there is probably just somebody's farm, and because I don't know what else. Who knows what it could be, right? You see, you come in there, right? But then you see this here. Then you see this here. It's like, oh, that's just part of his farm. And then you see that it just keeps going. It's really pale and it's really hard to see, but it's like, wait a second. So for me, it's like we've got the actual plane. We've got the actual plane that people. This is just right near one of the villages. That's Nazca here. Where was I? Okay, that's Nazca here. That's the Nazca lines right there. But then when you start getting into other areas, so let's go up here, because that's still a desert up there, right? You start zooming in, and every now and again, you're finding a perfectly straight line. Now, some of these straight lines could be Inca roads, but then you've got this pale line here and this pale line here. It's like, wait a second. This is not making a lot of sense. They could just be regular roads, or they could be other features. It's so difficult to tell because once, like this here, this is just power lines. These are power pylons. These are the pylons. Those are power lines. So these are the roads that are connected to them. I don't know if I should have looked, because there's a couple of features that I happen to there's a couple of features that I happen to know about that I could have just went straight to if I had taken the time. So you're basically looking through here and you're going, okay, so they put in something, anything, and any disruption stays forever. Any disruption to the land stays forever. This is a site where these lines could have been getting added for thousands and thousands of years, and we don't know why. We don't know what they're up to. But there's two things. The Ica stones. The Ica stones are a collection of andesite stones from the Ica province in Peru, known for their engraved motifs. This becomes important. So, did I close that out completely? I closed it out completely. I got to get this set back up again. So I'm going to take a second. This is the Ica stones. These are also found in Peru. Found. Okay, let me see. The Ica stones have been reported from the Ica province in Peru. They are composed of andesite rock. Really, okay, ICA, the Ica stones. Okay, so let's find Ica province. Let's go back to Google Maps. Look up Ica province. Let's hope I don't lose track of. Okay, there we go. Let's share this. Okay, so Nazca is here down at the bottom. Let's bring this up a little bit better. Come on. This is Ica. This is Ica, Peru. This is Nazca down here. So this is the province. I don't know if you guys can see it. There's some very, very, very pale dotted lines. That's showing the provincial boundaries. Just a second. Okay, Nazca is the capital of the Nazca province, located in the Ica district of the Ica region of Peru. It's like, okay, what about it? What about it? Well, that's an Ica stone. These are found in the area. These are found. Oh, of course, because I just don't do things right. I thought I had it added and I didn't. Okay. I'll show you guys this again because this kind of matters. Nazca is down here near the bottom. Okay. This is the Nazca is in the Nazca province of Peru. This is Ica, the capital of the Ica province in Peru. So they're very close together. Okay. This is Peru. So yes, these are very close together. And I gotta go find him again. I've gotta start doing a little bit of there we go. So there's Ica. Ica. I'm not sure. Come on, I don't want just one guy's farm. So this is farmland in Ica, Peru. And there's Nazca down there at the bottom. Ica, Nazca. Super, super close together, right? Right? Okay. So we've got the Nazca lines. We've got the Nazca lines, and we've got the Nazca lines, and we're sitting back and we're going, these have been around for, I don't give a shit what our scientists say. They've been around for a lot longer than they believe. They've been around for a really long time. They've been made and remade and made and remade. Yeah, Peru's a big country. Peru's not tiny, okay? Let's go back over to those Ica stones. I'm gonna let you guys look at that for a minute while I get some really cool shit sorted out. Is it going to do it? Well, it's going to give me better images for sure. Okay, so 500 BC to 500 AD. That's when Nazca was created. That's when natives went into the area with very, very low-grade tools, carried all their own water, all their own firewood, all their own food. No way to survive if you don't bring it with you. You don't get it. And built all these straight fucking lines for no particular reason. Pardon me, that anybody can sort out. Okay. Then they just stopped doing it. These are the Ica stones. The Ica stones were found in various caves. This is actually taking a stone and just scratching away at the surface to create an image or a design. Really common. A lot of cultures did it. That part's not the part that's going to blow your mind in 3, 2, 1. I'll give you guys a second to take a look at that. If you are just listening and have a chance to look up for a second, you're really going to want to see this. Yeah. Dinosaurs. The Ica stones have dinosaurs on them. The Ica stones have dinosaurs on them. The culture of the place, of the time, there is no fucking way, even if they found dinosaur bones, there's no way that they would have any idea what a dinosaur might look like unless they saw them themselves, unless they saw them in person. By the way, I want to do a chat on that because there are all kinds of theories about the idea of dinosaurs still existing, and we're just too stupid to believe it. But anyway, so these Ica stones, Ica, I'm going to pronounce it badly no matter what I do. So if I flip pronunciations, the Ica stones. So a lot of them are just people showing everyday like that. This one here's a warrior. There's a bird beside him. This guy's just playing possibly a musical instrument. So this particular guy, he collects them. He's been collecting them from the area for years and years and years and years and years. He has a little museum. He has a little museum. You have to go to Peru to see these. There are thousands of these. Weird designs, dinosaurs. Now, this one's interesting because there is this guy. This is a guy straddling a dinosaur and putting a spear in the back of his neck. He's hunting it. This guy hunted a dinosaur. While he's hunting the dinosaur, something else is coming at him from behind. Right? Now, also, there's a smaller person here that is trying to that is holding what we think, I'm assuming is a knife. I think, and I hope you agree, trying to get this guy off of his back. Now, the interesting thing, this is a really, really, really interesting thing of almost every culture in the world. Their gods were always physically larger than they were. So you have another dinosaur up here trying to grab his head. This is some sort of a battle scene. This is like fighting. This is fighting the monsters, right? But they're dinosaurs. This is not an imaginary creature to these people. Whoever made this stone, this was not an imaginary person. And I don't know if you've ever done this as a kid. Take one sharp rock and scrape away at another rock. These are very doable. They're not dug deep. They're not super, it's not super, it might be difficult to take a really, really hard rock and turn it into something and sculpt it, but scraping away a surface layer is not that difficult. And again, we've got, I don't know what this is going on, but he's pulling something out of this guy's head. And this guy's just laying there letting it happen. This is two figures on what appears, I'm gonna guess a snapping turtle, because it looks like a turtle only has a short neck, but a snapping turtle has a really long neck. If you pick up a snapping, if you grab I've never seen a snapping turtle, at least not that I've known. If you happen to try to pick up a snapping turtle, its neck is long enough that it can reach around and snap and bite you. And that's kind of what it looks like it's showing here. These two guys are on the turtle's back, and this guy's got some sort of an axe, and it looks like this turtle is trying to bite him, and he's trying to fight it, or he's riding it, right? This one's hard to see. I'm not sure what that one is. This one here, this is in Peru, and this looks like it's a map. There's mountains over there. It looks like different islands or land masses, and yeah, stones appearing to depict a map. And I've seen this one before. Some of these I have seen, and some of these I haven't seen. They can't date the rock. This is the problem, that you cannot carbon date a rock. So unless you can get in there with a microscope and find a piece of, like, say some, I don't know what they would have used, but unless they, and this is okay. This is why I made a big point of saying, if I go into an area and I make a campfire and I gather up a bunch, you make your little ring of rocks and make a campfire, right? Carbon dating of objects like this usually involves formally dating an object like this means that they will go into an area and say, this rock is sitting on top of a piece of wood that we know is 500 years old. So this rock was carved 500 years ago, right? This is the problem. So if I show up today and I grab a bunch of rocks and I happen to grab one of those, because I'm not interested. I don't care. I just, whatever, I'm making a fire, right? I go away. They come back 5 years later and go, oh, well, there's this weird looking rock. How old is that wood? Oh, 5 years. This was made within the last 5 years. It's not an artifact. Science does this all the time to artifacts that make them uncomfortable. And sometimes it's because they did a thing. This happened a pyramid. I'm not sure which one. I remember reading the story. One of the stories, I read this story. Basically, what happened was archaeologists were studying a pyramid, and they were trying to figure out the age of this particular pyramid, right? And that's pretty much exactly what happened. They found wood They found wood and containers or whatever. They found stuff inside the pyramid. So they dated it. It's like, oh, this pyramid's only 500 years old. Whatever. And it wasn't that old. And they're like, oh, okay. So they were making pyramids in the area or some sort of a structure. I know it happened. I know it was in Egypt. It was in Egypt, and it was, so they're like, oh, well, this was going on until 500 years ago or 600 years ago. And then they realized, no, tomb robbers had come in, started a fire, maybe so that they could see, because that's something else you can do too. You can start a fire to create light for yourself. They realized after a little bit more looking around, because it was they wrote an article about this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And then they came back and said, we're a bunch of idiots. This was likely tomb robbers who broke into the tomb, built a fire, and because we came along later and found the remnants of their fire, we got the wrong date on this structure. This is not correct. We know that tomb robbers were active in the area up until 500 years ago, but it actually told us nothing about the age of this thing. And I do think it was a pyramid. Anyway, yeah, we still don't know anything. We still don't know anything about this. We still have to go by this assumption, that assumption. So this happens, and it happens more than people think, because don't forget, we don't know, even if we assume, let's assume this hyper advanced civilization. That's fine, hyper advanced civilization. And then civilization falls, then in the 2 to 3 to 5 to 20 to 60,000 years between then and now, non-advanced people, like these things do not, these objects, these things do not exist in a vacuum. So yeah, you're going to find evidence of a thing. I'm living in Egypt 5,000 years ago. Things are going on, and I figure out, and I'm living in Egypt. Okay, what? I believe living in Egypt 8,000 BC, before we've really even gotten back into farming yet, okay? I find a pyramid. Well, isn't that a very, very convenient, highly defensible structure to live in for the short term at least? What is the most weatherproof and easy, which is more weatherproof and easier to defend? A cave structure that you found, or a tent made out of a few skins, right? That's my that's my like big picture view on some of that stuff. I think we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff that we have assumed is a certain age based on the evidence that we found, while forgetting that these structures, once these structures are abandoned, they're not sitting there in a vacuum. So the Ica stones exist in the same area of Peru. Like, this is just a guy. He's doing something. Don't know. Oh, they're already done. Oh, wait. That guy's holding a heart. There's a heart right there, a human heart. Right there. You know why I know it's a human heart? Can I bring this in? Oh, it doesn't let me make it bigger. I wish it would. This is an anatomically correct heart. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. This is a heart. There is no. I just literally spotted that by accident swinging through. So I don't know if they're removing it or replacing it. But yeah. Yeah, dinosaurs. These fucking stones show dinosaurs, and they exist in the same area. If you found certain dinosaur bones, like a skull of a triceratops, you could probably work out general shape and size from that and just interpret what you think it would look like and put it in stone. Do you know how long it took our science to do that? It's not. If I were to find finding a triceratops skull, why, let's find out. Let's share this tab, by the way. Here's more. There are thousands of these stones. And there's more. There's another. There's a triceratops right there. With something else on top of it. Okay, so Were there dinosaurs in Peru? A few. A titanosaur. Okay, let's see. Peru is a country in South America. I'll show you guys. Peru is a country from South America. It is a home section to the Amazon forest. A few were dug up in the area. So we've got that. Fossils were not and are not common in the Peru area, which makes sense because the Andes is one of the youngest mountain. The Andes is one of the youngest mountain ranges, which means that huge sections of time where the dinosaurs existed, that mountain range wouldn't have even been there. I got to do it that way. Yeah, the Andes uplift began between 20 and 30 million years ago. So we're talking dinosaurs have been around for hundreds of millions of years. So yeah, there's not going to be very many dinosaurs found in that area. But I mean, I've never found a dinosaur, but I know what they look like because other people have found dinosaurs. Oh, yeah. Just a possible selection. Here's the thing. Finding a triceratops, you would have to know what you were looking at, which is possible. Like, I mean, you'd have to recognize what you were looking at, but then you would have to recognize when you see a fossil bone, people find fossil bones all the time and don't realize what they're seeing. So if you're not expecting to find fossilized bones, if you're a primitive people who doesn't know what they are, then you're not gonna know what to do with it. The interesting thing is, it's just what's really interesting to me is that, like, we don't find cow bones laying around all over the place. This is a good example for me. Okay, we do not regularly find animal bones just laying around in our environment, even though we are a meat-eating species. We do not carve up, just to be crass and crude for a minute, we do not take our pets and just throw them out into the street to get buried in trash and rubble and do whatever. We don't do that. We take our farm animals, we butcher them. We don't just throw the bone, even when we're throwing away our chicken bones. When we're throwing away our chicken bones and that T-bone from your steak and stuff like that, they go away from us. So if you were to swing by, if you were to turn off the lights, okay, Vancouver, we're turning off the lights, everybody get the fuck out, right? It would be really, really, really easy to assume that we're vegetarians because you're not going to find a lot of that. You're not going to find that kind of evidence laying around. One of my personal favorite arguments is this idea that if we had dinosaurs, if we coexisted with dinosaurs at any part in our history, in our whatever, we're not going to, our pet T-Rex isn't going to pass away and we just bury it in the backyard for future generations to find. It's not that simple. Our food animals, we have methods of disposal. So you're not going to find, you might find the cow graveyard way over there, but you're not going to find it here. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this. If you come by turn off the lights, everybody leaves, you come by 10,000 years from now, you're going to find cow bones over there. You may find some evidence that we ate cows, but you're not going to find the evidence of just how, I don't know, maybe chicken is a better word, chickens. You're going to find evidence of chickens. You're going to find evidence that we probably ate chickens, but you're not going to find them just scattered around our settlements because we dispose of them. which is, and we just assume that we assume that nobody else did before we came along and figured out that it was safer and more sanitary to do that, right? But back to the Nazca line, back to Nazca. So when you get up here, oh, that's farmland. Let me see if I can find it. So basically, you go right next door. Oh, that's a road of some kind. Or is it? What is that? Well, that's something. I don't know what it is. So basically, you go right next door. You go right next door, just up the road from Nazca, past the lines into the Ica area, and now you've suddenly got the Ica stones. You've suddenly got these Ica stones that are showing dinosaurs, that are showing things that we just shouldn't be able to see. Of course, it's like, this is a hoax, this is a hoax, this is a hoax. That's what everybody wants to say. Everybody wants to say this is a hoax, which I get, except for this guy that collects these stones has never tried to do anything like that. We've got, if you want to see, like, this is, okay, fertility is a big, I've already closed the thing again. I keep closing it. Yeah, I'm going. Okay. If you don't like penises, turn away now, because this is the kind of stuff that you see from native cultures. Fertility is, it's not about the size of the penis, it's about the fertility. Okay. So you're seeing fertility symbols. And then you're seeing this guy, looks like he's looking through a telescope, and there's a star up there. Right? That looks like it's a comet. This guy over here is also looking up. He's looking through something like they had telescopes back then, and we know that they didn't. I never shared the screen. My God. Because I suck at this. Okay, so this is the one that I just said with the telescope. Looks like they're looking through the telescope. On the top of the lid. On the top of the lid, there's a star. This looks like a comet because there's a tail coming through here. This guy is looking through something. That guy is also looking through something. This is the kind, okay, so we're going to now on to the penises. This is the kind of stuff that you see in native culture because it's all about the fertility. Okay, so this is this guy's collection. Now, I don't know if you can, I don't know if it's not going to let me zoom in. Oh, it is going to let me zoom in. There's an elephant. That looks like an elephant to me. It could just be the way the stones are side by side. There's stones everywhere. This looks like some sort of a Komodo dragon type thing. This guy just collects them. Just collects them. If you want to come and look, you can come and look, right? That goes to a, this is the same one again. This is that same one again from a slightly different angle. This is the one where the guy's got the spear. He's on the back of this dinosaur. He's got a spear. He's stabbing it. This is another dinosaur with a spiked tail, and he's taken the head off this guy. So making it very clear that, oh, we had to fight. This is what we had to fight off. This is what we had to deal with to be here. And a lot of cultures have their myths. This guy is on what appears to be a pterodactyl. Not sure. I think that's supposed to be the tongue. I think that is supposed to be the tongue coming up because most of them seem to have it. The ones that show a tongue, I'm not going to see too many right now. This makes no logical sense. And look at this one. Look at this one here. This one, there's a blanket. There's a blanket of some kind. This guy's riding this thing. This guy's riding it like a pet, like a horse. It's like, well, wait a second. Maybe there's a reason why they didn't have the horse. The Ica stones are like really, really fascinating to me. Are some of them hoaxes? Most likely. This guy was buying them from the natives, and the natives, this guy was buying them from the natives. So the idea that some of the natives were producing fake stones to bring to him makes a degree of sense, but they've got to have better things to do. Yeah, here's another one. So, okay, you find a Triceratops skull, and you figure out what a Triceratops looks like. Are you going to personally imagine riding it like this guy's doing? Like it looks, I don't know if it's an axe or a pipe by the angle he's holding it, but he's not trying too hard. Yeah, Ica stone of a man riding a Triceratops. These ones, this is a fight happening. Yeah, this is brains. This is the one that looked like, oh no, this is a different one, but showing brain surgery. Did you know that the Incas, there's a process called trepanning? If you have a concussion, pressure on the brain, okay? Pressure on the brain. If you take a serious enough head wound and have pressure on the brain building up, they can literally like shave off a little piece of your skull and let the pressure out, like not let the brain out, let the pressure out. It's called trepanning. And the Inca were proud. Was it Inca? I keep saying, you know what? I say Inca for everything. The Inca performed trepanations using bifacial obsidian tools to create incisions in the patient's skull. In later years, bronze and copper tools were used for the same procedure. The preferred surgical tool was the tumi, a curved metal knife that cut through skin and the pericranium. Is this? Oh, the Mayans. Mayans and the Incas. So it's drilling a hole in the skull without damaging the brain, or by modern terms of craniotomy. It's among the oldest surgeries, which the ancient Greeks and Romans also used to relieve pressure and remove skull fragments from head wounds. Thing is that we're going, oh, well, it's like not a fun surgery, but the thing is, they use this surgery, and there are skulls. I gotta look up Inca. Yeah, here's one. Share this tab. Okay, so this was brain surgery. And this is also from the same area. This is from the same area. So basically somebody gets injured in battle, comes back, and they notice he's got a skull fracture, he's got this. For starters, they were able to diagnose that. Don't forget, we have made a lot of scientific assumptions about just how primitive the people in the area at that time were. And yet, yeah, the Incans were notable for brain surgery. Now, this one here is really important because you can see that this person had it done and that it healed. That the weird flaky appearance after this, that's the new bone growing in to fill the hole up. This is a person who experienced an injury, had this procedure done, and survived it. Okay, so rates of success. In the discoveries that have been made so far regarding the Inca practice of trepanation, 70 to 90% of all skulls discovered has shown growth, allowing scholars to infer that 70 to 90% of all Inca brain surgeries were a success. Yeah, it didn't kill them. This is a really important part. It did not kill them. It's like, Well, wait a second. Our own surgery up until like the 1800s, you were more likely to die of a post-surgical infection than you were to die of whatever it was they were up. The reason why surgery was a desperate last resort in our medicine is because of this extremely high rate of death and infection, period. Gangrene, all that shit. Oh, I just leave it on a bunch of stuff that's not fun. So my question to this has always been, who taught them to do that? Where did they learn this? And why did the practice die off? Why did the practice die off over time rather than improve? I always get stuck on that one. So basically, we're looking at, I do this every fucking time. I just have to click the buttons in the correct order. I really do. I just have to, well, I did that. I do that all the time. So let's reset. So yeah, so we've got this sort of stuff. This does not make sense. Even if a percentage of these Ica stones are currently forgeries, because people suspect that. Let's see if I can get a name. Yeah, they were reportedly discovered in a cave near Ica, Peru, not far from the Nazca Lines. Many of their depictions align with images found at the Nazca Lines, creating messages about ancient astronauts. Yeah, see, many of their depictions align with images found at the Nazca Lines, creating messages about ancient astronauts who visited planet Earth and created a biogenetic experiment in which we engage to this day. Many people believe that these extraterrestrial entities. This is obviously extension of something else that was already in this site that I'm looking at. Yeah, the simulation. So I'm not going to keep reading because I can have my own conspiracy theories. Thank you very much. Thing is, these a bunch of these stones were found in a cave. That's the one I want. You know what? It used to be super easy. Yeah, the Paracas culture was an Andean society that existed between 800 BCE and 100 BCE. So that's like 500 years before the Nazcans, which was before the Nazcans. Well, we don't know who the Nazcans were, but they came before the Inca, the Maya, and all those guys. With an extensive knowledge of irrigation and water management, and that made significant contributions to the textile arts. That's something else. That's the next step. Where are we at? We're almost at 4 o'clock. They were probably better doctors that day. Yeah, I love the guy or the gal riding the Triceratops. This is the fucking creepy thing. This is the really, really freaky thing, is that the connections, there is like this breadcrumb trail that really, really points to that particular area being one of the areas with an advanced civilization. And don't forget, maybe do forget, I don't know. I see like connections. I see connections to things. It's like there has been more than one speculation from people such as myself that how did we develop to this point? What did we, how did we go from being hunter-gatherers to basically snap of the fingers, look where we are now? Our entire development for almost 300,000 years was like incremental, teeny changes over thousands and thousands of years, and then snap your finger and we went boom. So there's something, right? I do think there's a missing link, and I think there's a missing link in our development, and I think that's where you get biological experiments, aliens, catastrophic events forcing rapid evolution, any combination, mix and match of any of that stuff and other things. Okay. What was I just going to look up? I was just going to look up one more thing for you guys. I got a few minutes for one more thing. I could literally look at what was I going to look up? Oh my God, I'm having a brain cramp. I should have said it out loud so I couldn't forget. better doctors back then. Oh, you guys ever heard of, I bet you some of you guys don't even know it's real. Oh, oh, that's why. Come on. We're going to go somewhere a little different. Let's see if I can. I don't need to look it up here. I need to look it up over here. Google Maps. Do I have Google Earth? Google Earth would have been better to use, but Google Maps is just as good. Is this? Well, yes, it is. Okay, so now we're going to take one more detour. Have you guys heard of Lake Titicaca? Now, I remember Lake Titicaca. I remember hearing all about Lake Titicaca because titty and caca in the same word is just a third grader's, I'm almost swearing, dream. Okay, Lake Titicaca is a real lake. Let's share this tab. So we have, let's let's get back onto that one. I know exactly where that one is. Okay. This is Lake Titicaca. It is right on the border between, you guessed it, Peru and Bolivia. Okay. Lake Titicaca is rumored to have 2 pyramids that are buried in the lake. Am I gonna get to see it? Lake Titicaca is the highest lake in the world. It's at the highest elevation in the world. And there's Cusco, which is another which also has some really cool shit there. So there we go. There's Ica right here. Do I have it up properly? I do not have it up properly. That's okay. You know what it is? I switch over to the screen, right? Yeah, I've heard this on a podcast I listened to. I spent almost 10 minutes giggling. Absolutely. It's, I don't know what it means, but it's okay. I was just literally flipping around a map and it would have made you guys seasick for me to try. Okay. So we've been over here in Nazca and Ica, off to the left, center left over here on your map, right? Yeah, when I switch screens, I can't see this one. And I can actually, there's a way for me to not do that. And I'm just too lazy to set it up. I've got to walk. I got to get Lisa to walk me through it to make sure I set it up properly. Because if I go back in through the, I can just even bring up. Yeah, we have names like that in New Zealand. If I just go through and even just use my phone or something, I can just have the chat on a completely separate device even. And then when I screw it up, I'll know. I'll be able to see it for myself. Okay. So what we're looking at here, this is Ica, which stones depicting dinosaurs are found here. Nazca lines that in any other setting would be like, well, so there used to be an airport here. Okay. Is here. Then we've got Lake Titicaca that's here. Titicaca. Cusco, by the way. Let's just hit on Cusco for a minute. Oh, wait. Yeah. Duh. Let's bring up. So where does Cusco? Okay. Cusco is important. Cusco is here. Ollantaytambo is here. And Machu Picchu is, come on. There. That's Machu Picchu. Okay. This is really important to see all that terracing. That's for farming, right? That's how they supported themselves. And then you come back, it was just there too. So Machu Picchu is here, which is just outside of Cusco, which there's a shit ton of stuff in that area. Ollantaytambo, I think that's what it's called. So we've got everything is here. Everything is in this area. So Isa, Nazca, Machu Picchu, Lake Titicaca. Let's get back to Cusco. Let's see if it shows. Yes. You see that? Some of that, and I'm not going to say all of it, terrace farming was widely practiced in this area. Widely practiced for terrace farming. See, that's the airport. That's the airport. You come out a little bit further. Anyway. Yeah, Sacsayhuaman. That's where the giant stones are. This is also a fascinating area because you can literally see how these giant massive stones are on the bottom. They were put down first. Okay. These giant massive stones were put down first, God knows when. And then obviously somebody with less technology came along and put down smaller stones later. You can't put the new stuff on the bottom. And then somebody right up in here came back even later with smaller stones. Wow, this whole top, so the technology levels, this stone, not a problem. Now this stone is the big deal, right? They lost technology as they move forward in time. They got less, and the bottom layer of stones are bigger and chunkier and whatever. But what did it take to move them? What did it take to move them? And what did it take? Like this stone here, this big center stone here, they had to precision cut to make sure that these other stones were going to set around them and not fall, because there's, as far as I'm aware, as far as I remember reading, there's no mortar in these blocks. These blocks are held in by their own weight and by the puzzle piece connectivity of how they go together. These giant stones required a higher degree of technology to move and a higher degree of technology to place than these smaller stones that came afterward. And these ones are still put together really well. This is nice. This is nice. And then look at the ones on the top. It's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're doing good. That's there. Yeah. Oh, I definitely, you know what? I want to do a talk on giants. Oh, Titicaca is funny because in Spanish, caca means poop. Yeah, is Peru Spanish or Portuguese? I have no idea what Titicaca means, but that's what we're supposed to be looking at. But I'm just like doing a quick hit and run on some of these map areas, because this gets really, really crazy, really, really fast. How you can't go anywhere here without literally tripping over this shit. This whole area, and the society, the culture as they were found by explorers was nowhere near advanced. There was no way that they would have been able to create what they created. So you've got all that shit. So there's Sacsayhuaman. I could never pronounce that shit properly. So yeah, you've got Ica, Nazca, Sacsayhuaman, right up Machu Picchu's in the area. This little area here is already like, oh my God. Then you go further south, Lake Titicaca. Can I find it right quick on the map? There are, and I don't know if I can find anything that'll. There are stories that there are two sunken pyramids, matching pyramids, pyramid of the sun and pyramid of the moon, or something like that. The type of pyramids that you see in South America, that there are two pyramids that sank in here. But also, Titicaca. I don't want that. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Is that it? Okay, well, so here is, yeah, Tiwanaku is down there. So Lake Titicaca is just peppered with archaeological sites because they keep finding so much under the water. So much under the water. And I think I just found the area. I think I found the area that I want to zoom in on. Basically, a lot of I'm not going to find it. Well, I'll find a bit of it. Okay, so here's this. This is. I'm not sure if Spanish varies from place to place. In Puerto Rico, caca means poop. Pero have had the experience of talking that some words mean something different. You know what? We get the same. English is the exact same way. Like, I mean, there's certain words that if you say them here will be very offensive. If you say them elsewhere are not offensive at all. And if you switch and say a certain word over there, it's just a normal regular word here. So it actually makes sense. Yeah. I think giants still exist somewhere, deep forest and or underground. I think that when you start talking about Mu and Lemuria and Atlantis and all of that stuff, whoever or whatever they were, this shit that exists in Peru, I think it's an indigenous word. I do think it's an indigenous word. But when you're in grade 3, you hear the word titty and caca in the same word, and you're like, I have no idea. Actually, let's see if it means anything. Okay, local communities believe that the shape of the lake depicts that of a puma hunting the rabbit, which, again, you find a primitive civilization. How do they know what the lake looks like from above? It's already the highest lake in the world. The name Titicaca comes from the word Titi Karka, meaning rock of the puma, in Aymara, the local indigenous language. So Lake Titicaca is the largest freshwater lake in South America and the highest of the world's large lakes. It is one of less than 20 ancient lakes on Earth and is thought to be 3 million years old. This is a 3 million year old lake, okay? Oh yeah, they also had those. So Lake Titicaca, I'll bring this one up. Yeah, that one. Okay, basically, yeah, same thing. I've had the experience of talking Spanish to someone in Colombia, and we laugh so hard because some words that are not curse words are not cursed to us. We're in Colombia. Same. You get that in every language. There's no way around it. There's a word in Chinese that basically means and it sounds like a racial slur to us. It's not. And there's a very, very, very tiny difference in the pronunciation. But when you hear the word here, you're like, oh my God, did you just say that word? It sounds like a racial slur. It's like, and it's like, it gets people in trouble here because we have a very large Chinese population here. So it's like, yeah, this is one of the floating islands of Titicaca. What they do is they take reeds and grasses and whatnot and just lay them down in layer after layer after layer after layer and then live on them. This doesn't seem like much, But as an ancient society, who in their right mind, I'm going to go live on a mat of reeds, and I'm going to bring my family, and these are fishing villages. The floating islands are created by stacking layers of totora roots and reeds. Except for who figured this out? Do you know the engineering that it takes to even conceive of this? It's one of those things. It's one of those things that is, now that you've done it, it's simple. It's like, oh, okay. But some of our most simple things that we have now required extensive innovation to bring about. Who conceived of this, and who figured out that you could put entire populations onto a floating island? Who did that? It requires a level of advancement that the uncivilized natives wouldn't really have been. But this is not what I'm looking for. This is not what I'm looking for. This is actually... What is that? No, that's not what I want. I want something else. See, this is the thing. If I look things up first, then the rabbit holes aren't nearly as much fun, but then... But yeah, like there is evidence of so much. Lake Titicaca has archaeological sites in, on, and around the lake. A lake that's existed for a lake that has supposedly existed for over 3 million years. Okay, let's change that one back to that. Bring it over here. Am I on the right one now? I'm on the right one now. Let's see if this will bring me back to what I want. That's not it. Oh yeah, there's... That's not the one I want. Let's just go right down to... The really cool thing, if you go looking for like I just did Titicaca Ancient Aliens, because if you do those types of lookups, you're going to see the really compelling photos, even if they don't necessarily agree with your opinions or ideas. Let's see. To unlock this, give us money. I'm not finding it. If you ever want to find some stuff that'll blow you, and it's kind of interesting too, because like we go so crazy going, where are the pyramids? Where are the pyramids? We want to look at the pyramids. Pyramids are in Egypt, and the Egyptian government has a very tight control on what's going on there. And there is so much shit going on in Peru that would make the pyramids look like a waste of time. And we really don't give it that much attention. No, that's not what I want. You know what it is? I'm clicking on the wrong fucking thing. I'm trying to hurry. That's my problem. I am trying to hurry. There's a Lake Titicaca in Washington? The fuck? Okay, there it is. We'll get back. We got back there. Okay. Now I found a little one. This is important. So this is Lake Titicaca. Am I going to find it if I go zoom out a little bit? Sometimes these things, nope, that's not. There's a really cool ancient town nearby, and I'm not seeing it because I lost track of it and I can't remember the name now. That's not it. Okay, so back up to the lake. If I zoom out first, Lake Titicaca has been Lake Titicaca is surrounded. The farms are watered through a network of canals. Okay, so basically they dig these long canals and let the water seep in, and then the farm plots around. So basically, rather than watering their crops, they dig these canals and keep the groundwater. Once your plant digs a deep enough root that can tap into groundwater, you don't have to underground moisture. You don't have to water it anymore. So this is an area, and you can see these lines. They continue out into the lake, which is really important. This is the part that matters. And basically, huge sections of this lake, huge sections of this lake. I'm not going to find this very well because this is a last minute thing that just occurred to me. But huge sections of this lake, like you can see a little bit here, these canals, this is all swampy area right now. So I'm going to have to like go, there's the one I was looking at earlier. So these come all the way in, and these are quite extensive in some places. In some places, these canal systems, there's part of it right there. These canal systems, they come up. This doesn't look like it's being, this is probably being farmed. So they bring these they dig these giant canal systems to bring water, and then they don't have to water anything. But the thing is that this is, what do they call it? Hydraulic. This actually requires, there's a hydraulic technology that's required to make this work that the people in the area supposedly don't possess. Like the people in the area just continue to use the canals. They don't know who built them. They make use of them, sure, but they don't know who built them. And you see all these, that's why everything's long and narrow here. During whatever rainy season that they do get, that's when this all fills up and whatnot. Some of these areas, I'm not doing a very good job here. Let's see. Yeah, see, there's an extension. That's part of what used to be an old canal. I mean, it's hard to see this. It's hard to see it clearly when you're just zooming in on a map. I spent like a good couple hours one day just going crazy looking at even this area over here. Basically, no, that's just the photo images. So basically, this entire area, this entire region at one point in time was a giant network of canals. But there is evidence, but I'm not going to find it. So you're going to have to take there's evidence of this, and I'm not going to find it. You'll have to take my word for it. But there is evidence that these canals reach out way further than where they assume the current shoreline of the lake has been for the last like 7,000 years of ridiculous amounts. So they're like the evidence of hydraulic engineering, the evidence of gargantuan structures. They're finding stuff off the coast. Let's see. Yeah, this is not going to show me anything that's going to be helpful, right? But they are finding shit. They are finding shit in the lake. And the last time the lake levels were low enough for the areas to be above water was like 20,000 years ago. So this lake is, yeah, you're going to have to take my word for it because I'm just not going to find it. Yeah, they had amazing aqueducts. The Mesoamerican experience. Oh, don't worry, Peggy Lou. You could always watch it back later or catch by the next one. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is also like very thin air, but they shouldn't be able, under normal circumstances, they shouldn't be able to farm up there. That was the thing. Okay, this is the thing. The nights, because of the altitude, the nights get so cold that it can go down below freezing, which means that things can't grow. This is what matters. This is the technology that matters. Okay, I don't know how to do this. Let me see. So and I watched an entire thing about this. Potatoes of all things, right? But without a source of a starch. Potatoes of the starches, potatoes have got vitamin C. They've got a trace amount of protein, I think it is. A few other vitamins that we need. Anyway, so what they do is they dig their canals. Okay, they dig these canals, either this way or squares or whatever. They plant their stuff, right? Now, regular farming up there doesn't necessarily work because there's not enough of a growing season. This further research may have changed opinions in the meantime. There's not enough of a growing season. So how are people able to actually produce crops up there at that altitude? Because it freezes at night. They have to be able to keep the ground from freezing, or the plants die. And what they realized is that they build these canals. Okay, the water in the canals is retaining enough heat during the day that the water vapor rising at night keeps that low-lying area. So the aqueduct is here. So you got like it's one or two feet down to the ground level. Then you got this here, right? The water the ambient heat that the water has collected. Because if you heat water up, it takes a while to cool down, right? And it's heating the ground up. So the ambient heat that the water is collecting during the day is enough. Yeah, thermal heating. The ambient heat that the water is collecting during the day, between that and the vapor releasing, is producing enough heat to keep the ground level where the plants are trying to come up from freezing overnight. This is a level of thermodynamic engineering that we are still learning about today. And these guys have been farming like this as far back as they can remember. As far as they're concerned, they've always farmed that way, right? So who 5,000 years ago, for however long this area has been occupied for, who figured that out? It's like, I'm sorry, you're talking about people, organized society, but Stone Age tools were smart enough to go, let's dig this canal in this configuration, taking advantage of the natural movement of lake water, blah, 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 blah. Let's dig these canals and get this going on here, because the thermal heating of the sun heating up the water during the day will heat the land and keep the things from freezing so we can grow our food. No, don't forget, these are work or die societies. This matters. One crop failure, I'm never going back there, right? These are people that are confident, and if you cannot grow your own food, you cannot survive to plant new food next year. They don't, as much as we go tribal societies, people aren't stupid. They will abandon an area. Before they will risk regular routine cycles of starvation in order to make it work. Why did they decide to stay and make it work? Because there's only in our current society, they had the resources and the support and the science backing it up. So they built it and it worked and they stayed. Stone Age societies, hunter-gatherer societies, let's settle down here and become farmers. It makes no sense. There's no logical sense whatsoever. What they're saying happened to how they don't match. Yeah, I got to get going too in a minute, Trisha. I'm glad you had a good time. Yeah, I think giants would be a really good topic for next, because the really interesting thing is that every single culture that I'm aware of, their gods were very much human beings, shaped like us at the very least, and yet they were always bigger than us. Always. Some of the stories and whatever about Atlantis, Mu, and Lemuria all talk about them being bigger than us. The Anunnaki are supposed to be like 12 to 15 feet tall. That's a whole separate story all by itself. We have this. Our mythology paints the gods as living, breathing beings who look like us, but were definitely not us and way bigger. So it's like, oh, So giants as a topic, I'm all there for it. And also whether or not, and what did or didn't giants have that we may not have had. So I think I do want to do that as the next one, but actually not the next one. I think we want to take I think this is all like, aliens, conspiracy theories. It's all kind of the cousins to that. Maybe we should do that not next week, the week after. And maybe next week we should go someplace completely different. Dinosaurs, the Ica stones. Maybe we should talk about dinosaurs, because there is like a growing body of people who believe that there may even be living dinosaurs out there now. But anyway. So this act of hydraulic engineering, let's do dinosaurs next. So do dinosaurs still exist next week, and then maybe giants the week after? Because then we can then we can move away. Yeah, you know what? They said the coelacanth, which is an ancient bony fish. They said the coelacanth was extinct like 30 million years ago, and they rediscovered in like the early 1900s that they're still there, and they're alive. I think there's a lot of shit that we don't. I gotta write this down. I have a sticky note. Okay, so next week I gotta save that one though. That's my that's what I gotta do. I gotta bring a notebook. So next is dinosaurs. And then, unless we come up with a better idea, giants the next week. Actually, giants and dinosaurs kind of, there is a relationship, because one of the theories about how dinosaurs were able to get as big as they did is because the assumption that lighter gravity lets things grow bigger. So if we had a species of giants that existed on the earth, they would have theoretically evolved at the same time as dinosaurs. Yeah, oceans in general scare me. I'd rather go to space against my will than ever set foot in the ocean. Honestly, I don't like deep water. I do not like deep water at all. Like, I mean, I must have drowned in a past life or something, because I do not like deep water. Lisa and I were kind of like, a couple of years ago, we were talking about whether or not we might want to go on a cruise, because we live right now. We just have to get on local transit, and we can go to the cruise ship terminal and hop on a short local cruise and save a lot of money. But we were talking about, giants and Nephilim. Yeah, that's the whole Anunnaki, Nephilim, all that stuff. So yeah, we could do that next week. Not next week. We'll do dinosaurs next week. Yeah, I don't like the ocean open. Ocean open. I'm trying. You know what it is? I'm trying to wrap up, so I'm talking way too fast. By the way, if I'm talking too fast, you can hit the gear icon and slow me down a little bit. I'll still sound mostly the same. Just go down to about 75% or whatever, right? To slow it down. The only thing that'll happen is if you do that during the live, you'll end up falling behind on the live. But if you're watching it back, and what'd she just say? Slow it, hit the little gear icon, and it'll give you speed options, so you can speed up or slow down the playback. But anyway, Lake Titicaca has got so much going on. We could do a separate talk just on Lake Titicaca. There are ancient structures. I don't think that's a real picture. Yeah, the ruins of an ancient temple have been found by international archaeologists under Lake Titicaca, the world's highest lake. And yet the same people that found these... Wait, who's doing that? Yeah, I'm claustrophobic, so the idea of all that water above me makes my heart race. Absolutely. Lisa loves water. She's a water baby. She loves water. So let me see. Yeah, let me see. So, oyster shells native to the oceans off of Ecuador, over 1,200 miles away. No, I gotta do this. Yeah, I'm finding some. I think that's a real one. Yeah, see, I'm seeing this. I found this page. I'll share this page. I'll share this page. It's talking about some of the artifacts that were found under Lake Titicaca. Yeah, where is that fucking place? There is some ruins outside of. There is an ancient city outside. There's an ancient city ruins just outside, just near the lake, and I can't remember the name of it, and it's not just popping up and making life easy for me. This is kind of what I'm like. No, this is not. No, this is not okay. Well, we know that I jump down every rabbit hole I see, so we'll find it. Is that it? No, that's not it. That's just more farming. Okay, so the hydraulic engineering that the sheer levels of hydraulic engineering that are required to make this area livable for farmers is astounding. Let's see. Paz. Oh, Bolivia. Okay, is that it? Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, so can I find it? Can I find it? Can I find it? Okay, so we've got this hydraulic engineering at levels that Tiwanaku, Jesus Christ, Pumapunku. Okay. This is Tiwanaku. Obviously, people still live here today. This is Pumapunku, which is an ancient site. Let me just bring it up, share it with you. So we've got all these people that this farming that this farming culture that I'm not saying nobody can farm nowhere, no how at or near Lake Titicaca. What I'm saying is that like I don't know how I'm saying it, but this canal system, areas that use this canal system get better crops, better yields, better everything, which plays a major part in how and why the area has been able to survive as a farming region for as long as it has, and it goes back thousands of years. This is Tiwanaku, which is right beside. Yeah, the other one that I was showing you, unfortunately, I can tell at a glance that it had fake photos in it. Some of the photos are fake, so I didn't want to. So I was like, a couple of the photos are real, but so many of them are fake or exaggerated that it's like I can't really show them. But then I remembered Tiwanaku. This is Tiwanaku here. This is the archaeological site here, and it extends. This is all farmland going around it and stuff. This is not the only area. This is just the one. This is the big one that they're excavating right now, right? So let us. And again, we're talking within spitting distance of Ica and Nazca and all those other. So the Nazca lines. Now, the reason why I'm jumping down every single rabbit hole is because they are connected. There is no way that this is not connected. So let us take a quick look at Pumapunku. And you are going to see Lego like you've never seen Lego before. Images of Pumapunku. I've got to get going in a minute, so I'm just going to bring up the Google map because I know these are legitimate photos. So these are the structures found at Pumapunku. And if you take a look at those H blocks, see the blocks that look like H's? They go together like Lego. Like, well, not like a mechano set. They slot together. This one here, you see two H blocks up in the corner there, and then that is like the back of another block to allow them to slot together. This whole place, from the looks of it, and this is Pumapunku. This is the site that was on Tiwanaku, right? Their armchair scientists are up here constantly looking this over. For starters, it's clear that everything was like torn down and scattered around. Nobody knows why. But there are stones like this. This is, natives with stone tools did this. This is precision. This is precision work. An inside corner, creating an inside corner with stone tools, it's not going to happen. Not with any precision. The inside L of a corner. Oh, I did it again. I didn't do it again. The inside corner of anything is really hard to do. You're not just chipping away with a stone. You can go in with a chisel and make a really sharp corner on a piece of wood. You're not making a sharp inside corner on a piece of stone like this when you're just tapping away with other stone tools. But this here, these blocks here at the back, well, there they are there. They go together like Lego. They slot together with other stones, and they build this was an entire complex of some kind. And all of the stonework that's here, based on what we think we know, look at this, the non-mystery of Pumapunku. So people are like, oh, we know what's going on, but it's like, we don't. It's like, how is this built? How was this put up? And what type of technologies were used when we're talking? How high up is Liddy? Well, this is within walking distance of Lake Titicaca. Well, okay, a short drive of Lake Titicaca. We're talking so high up that it's thin air. And yes, this is the newest theory that's coming out. Tiwanaku monuments are made of geopolymer artificial stones created 1,400 years ago. This is actually, people are falling behind this as a theory because it's not making sense. Nobody knows anything about this structure. And these are like, this is like not impossible. We don't have the technology to build something like this. Not when you zoom in and see stones that are weighing hundreds of tons as the base stones. Like look at this one here. Can I bring this up? Let me see if I can get it. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Scroll. Come on. I found this. Yeah. Like that gate, this gate here, this is huge. This is huge. Do we have the technology to carve it? Sure. Do we have technology to move it from wherever it was created, get it here, get it upright? This is a level of, it would be hard for us. We wouldn't be able to, we would not do it. We would not build this. We would not do this thing. Oh, the picture I wanted, I'm just not finding. But this here, nope, it's still not going to do it. Ugh. When you get off to the side here, I close my thing again. I'm leaving in a couple of minutes anyway, so that's okay. I can screw things up. Okay. When you get over to the side here, right, you've got two standing stones. It's like, so natives using stone tools did this. No, I'm not. Okay, now let's change this. Natives, the native population, we don't know what their technology was like 10,000 years ago. That part's fine. The stone tools part, right? At the point in their evolution or de-evolution, at the point in there is no way that the tools that we believe they had were not capable of making structures like this. And if you look at this guy over here, this is the one I tried to bring up bigger and it just wouldn't do it. If you look at this here, you've got your two great big giant stones, right? Then you've got these giant long stones that make up the steps. And some of these are really big. So we're not just talking the obvious visible stones. We're talking the interior, the background stones, the base. We're talking stuff. Like look at, so we've got the two giant stones at the top, but look at that guy. Look at that guy. Like that is a major feat of work to put that stone in place. And then we've got these perfectly square blocks here, right? Lots of evidence, just like, no, that's the same one again. Lots of evidence to say that these were built in several stages with, you know, and again, this is not Pumapunku. This is someplace, this is Sacsayhuana, Shana, or maybe it says Pumapunku. This is Pumapunku. Oh, Paracas, Nazca, Cusco, Macapico. But again, we've got huge, impossible stones on the bottom, and they get smaller, and then they get small. They get really small, like as if the technology is declining. This is a really cool rock. It has a straight channel carved through it, and then holes drilled into it with stone tools. With stone tools, mind you. So getting from, yeah, and oh my fucking God. Okay, you guys, I have a tablet that I can hook up and just get my thing going. Okay. Let me just very quickly back myself up here. So this is a huge rock, has a square cut channel, which means L-shaped bottoms in the bottom, drilled holes, stone tools. That doesn't happen. Interior. These are very, very unlikely. These were not made. This is the other one that I was saying about the giant stones at the bottom and the smaller stones along the top, and other ones that were. Yeah, I got it. Okay, next time. Remind me if I don't remember. Yeah, they're way too precise for the type of tools that we want to pretend they used for this. It's like, I'm sorry, but work or die society. No society, our society won't do it. If we had to take, if you had to give up 3 months of the year of your life to go hammering away at rocks, you're not going to do it, because you're a work or die society. And if you don't do it, you don't. If you are taking time off of survival, and I'm not saying that these guys didn't have leisure time, okay? I'm not saying this is not what I'm saying, but what I am saying, what shit was I babbling on about before we realized that I didn't have the thing on? Anyway, thing is, I think what I did was I closed one window and forgot to open the next one. Thing is that there's no way. There is no way that this was made with the type of technology that we want to believe these people possessed. Because we can't do most of this. We cannot do this. We cannot do this and would not do. And it's not even a matter of could not, would not. How many structures do we have in our society right now? How many structures do we have in our modern society where we are using massive giant stone blocks? Like 1, 2. Hoover Dam was concrete. You can't count that one. You just can't do it. This is another one I was showing. You got this giant stone here, and then you got these well-fitted blocks here, but then when you get to the top, it gets really small. There's not a lot of logic here. Big stones down the center. Yeah, I can do that. Did I do that right? Okay, Okay, I've got at least a little bit of something happening here that I can make sense of. Oh my God, now what the fuck did I do? I'm doing shit. I'm doing shit. Okay, so you got the big stones down the center. That's not making a sense. Well, hello there. Yeah, we're just, your timing today. We're just getting, I'm just getting ready to get going because Lisa's going to be home soon. So basically for me personally, starting the conversation with the Nazca Lines is really, really, really important, because when you start looking at what else is in the area, to me, it starts looking more and more like a fucking airport. It's like, these are feats of engineering that just don't make sense. These are feats of these feats of engineering, these feats, and this is where I always start babbling on about logic and shit. Okay, this makes no sense. We wouldn't do it in our modern society because it's a waste of resources, and we are a very comfortable society these days. I mean, generally speaking, and of course it's generalizing. I mean, not every place in the, why, hello there. apparently I'm going to get going in it. Why, hello there. Did you know that today is take your wife out for dinner so she doesn't have a mental breakdown day? Oh yeah, because now it's the weekend, so she can hover over her Kickstarter for 2.5, well, Friday, the rest of today, then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Yeah. Ask yourself logically, would you support a building project would you support a building project that was so, Vancouver City Council sits down and says, we want to build a pyramid. I will be done in a second. Vancouver City Council. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys with this question and actually get my ass in gear for a change. And don't forget, next Friday, because Friday is when I'm bouncing through all of these web pages and shit, right? Next Friday, if I do not remember to grab my tablet, yell at me. Peggy, go get your fucking tablet so that you can actually show us the pictures instead of talking about what you're looking at and we can't see a thing. I've got to remember to do it. It takes me 2 seconds. I just need to get off my fucking ass and go grab it, okay? Oh, printers and muggle job. That's okay. Are you just pulling? Am I just meeting you downstairs? Oh, I can't meet you downstairs. I still have to walk the dogs. Okay, anyway, so ask yourself this, because we think everything's a temple. It's all temples. Every single bit of it's a temple. Those lines, the official designation, these lines were created as part of a religious process, religious worship. They were making these lines to honor their gods. Now, I think E.T. had an airport. I don't think I'm willing to have my mind changed, but it's like, if I had to guess, if I had to just make a guess right this second, it's like, well, E.T. had an airport. They took apart the airport, went home again. The natives left over in the area tried to lure them back by adding more lines. And when that didn't work, they started making animals and stuff to get their attention, to get noticed. That's my guess. Because honestly, that's what a primitive native society would do if they wanted crows. Crows are known for bringing you presents. Keep that in mind. You spend enough time feeding a crow and it will start bringing you things. We're not above that. Go look up cargo cult. Look up cargo cults. Same fucking thing. They started seeing military, blah, 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 and wanted to attract them into the area. So they started building effigy airplanes to try and get their attention. We know that as human beings, we will do that. Anyway, there's way too much in that area. It is way too concentrated. And you ask yourself this: if you are living hand to mouth, if you're not working your farm, you got to work your farm. You got to bring in your vegetables. And I understand most kingdoms and empires had some form of taxation or work obligation that they expected from their people. That's fine. But are you going to support massive mega structures, blocks weighing hundreds and hundreds of tons that we don't even have the technology to move it now. If you're pulling a 100-ton block with a rope and that rope breaks, somebody's getting hurt. Are you really, really, as a society, going to support your leadership building projects like this on a massive scale that we've never seen since? We do not have these types of structures in our society. Our skyscrapers are made of concrete. We're not bringing in 200-ton blocks, right? Yeah, I got to get going too. I got to go. My wife is going to yell at me. And I still got to take a minute to walk the dogs. But ask yourself this: what society would support this strictly for religious purposes, which is the purpose that every single structure. Machu Picchu was a religious complex. This was a religious complex. This was an astronomical for religious purposes. So basically, archaeology, our ancestors right up until whatever were religious fanatics who would do this for religious purposes while living in a society where if you're not busy working your farm, gathering your, hunter-gatherer, blah, blah. If you're not busy doing your own shit, you're going to starve this winter. But because it's religion, off they go. I can't think of a single society that would support this level just for, okay. Yes, support. Yes, I can think of societies that supported their religious process. We've got massive cathedrals that prove that. The massive cathedrals that prove that were built by professionals. And it was still for a purpose, and the purpose was intended to be using that for the population. Anyway, they can't all be religious process. They cannot all be religious centers. Not this many, this advanced, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Next week is dinosaurs. Do they still exist? Don't forget also zip back to the previous video, the starting my swearing quilt. We ended up, as part of doing my swearing quilt, we ended up putting together this cute little bag, and I'm going to do a giveaway on that. And if you want to enter the giveaway for this little bag, it just says, I think the title of it is doing my, and it's got all the symbols, quilt. And go over there and just let me know that you want to be entered for the draw for that. And I will probably do that. I will probably do the draw for the bag next time I'm doing my sewing, which is probably going to be Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, my wife is probably getting ready to kill me right now. I'm in trouble. I'm going to get going. I'm going to get going and run my dogs out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.